What is good, everyone, and welcome back to Nostalgia Plus Ultra Podcast. My name is Nostalgia. Joining me is As Told by Zoe. What's good, my guy?
What's up, man?
Hey, man, I'm super excited today. It's our second themed episode titled Romance Anime is Exhausting. I super excited for this episode. It kind of came out of nowhere from a recommendation that one of our friends Danielle gave us, and shout out to her if you're listening. Shout out to you for kind of inspiring this entire episode. We'll get to your anime that you recommended me in a second. We're not going to reveal it off top just yet, but for everybody else listening. But for right now, I just want to say shout out to you for putting this whole thing together. So today we watched a lot of romance anime. Both of us have several thoughts on it in general, on just what we thought about it. It's definitely an experience. So I guess to start, Zoe, like, what was your experience with romance anime?
Here's the thing. We were supposed to record this episode last week, but we forgot it was Easter.
Yeah.
So we took a break. So I watched way more than I expected to. At the end of the day, I watched 1, 2, 3, 8. I watched 9 romance animes in full, and 10, like, the last one I'm like halfway. Well, not halfway, like I just started it. At first I was like, okay, it's whatever, it's fine. I hear a few good ones. I saw one bad one, and then I saw these 2 phenomenal masterpieces, and then right after those I saw 2 of, like, the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. So it was an actual roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah. So I guess tell me what did you like and didn't like about the experience? You don't have to go into details yet, because I know we're going to review a lot of the shows that we watched in general. I know some shows you finished that I didn't watch, and some shows I watched that you didn't watch. So it kind of gives a little bit more of a perspective on it. So what did you like and didn't like from your overall experience watching?
I find it interesting, the difference, like the culture gap between American, or not American, like Western romance media versus anime romance media, because like there's a lot of interesting / ridiculous premises for a lot of these shows, and sometimes it makes it funny, sometimes it just makes it uncomfortable. So I guess I like and dislike that, the fact that there's a culture gap, but it makes for interesting shows, at least. Like Love, I'm not even gonna get into detail yet, but like Love is War is a great example of an interesting concept for a romance anime. It's not run of the mill. It's Death Note if L and Light loved each other.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go that far with that. My review does not have that in it, but I guess I'll say for me, I had a lot of like common themes that I saw throughout the whole thing that definitely kind of stuck out. I wrote down a quote like that I thought the entire time through my entire process was, there wouldn't be a story if both characters weren't such idiots.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of goes to show, like, you can't have a story if both characters aren't going to be super be idiots about their emotions, how they feel, whatever. And that goes for not only the main character, but side characters. And there's a like, I don't want to get into specifics, but like something like Toradora, right? When I watched that, it gave me the same feeling. It's like this story would not be a story if the main characters weren't idiots. You know what I'm saying? Like they just do a lot of stupid shit or say a lot of stupid things or do things that like any person with common sense just wouldn't do. But then again, you wouldn't have a story if people use common sense. So I guess that's just one thing I just thought was funny. I will say that the biggest thing that made certain romance anime good to me was the fact that there was meaningful conflict in the story while also being a love or like a romance type story, right? Like there's got to be some kind of meaningful conflict or presence that's happening for it to become a good story. So that way, you know, if it's any other just random run-of-the-mill premise, even the slice of life ones that we watched, right? Like those still have have some sort of a meaningful conflict within them to make them like actually good, compelling stories that you want to keep watching. The ones that I thought weren't good were ones that just didn't really have any kind of meaningful, like meat behind them, I guess, if they want to call it. Like, don't really have real meat to the story. It's just random shit happening between two characters that like each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just weird. But, and then also with that meaningful conflict, I think there's a common theme in a lot of romance anime, especially the ones that I guess I watched. The main theme is definitely like a journey of self-discovery in a way, where it's like they're kind of like, where obviously they're trying to express their feelings towards the other person in the way that and get that confidence to do that. But also in the same breath, it's like, well, they're trying to figure themselves out still and still try to like find themselves in the midst of this kind of situation where they like somebody and they're trying to figure out these emotions, trying to figure out like who they are as a person and really come to grips with that. So it's definitely, so those two things definitely make for the good parts of the romance anime. And then I guess lastly, one thing that I actually hated was I'm not a fan of tsunderes. Tsunderes are annoying as fuck to me. Anytime there is a tsundere in a story, I'm immediately turned off. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like there might be, and we had this conversation like when it came to Asuka in the Ava episode, right?
Yeah.
Where I was like, I am fully aware of the mental strain and the traumas associated with Asuka as a character, but that's not an excuse for her to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and so like when it comes to characters like that with tsunderes, like whether their actions have a certain, I guess, connotation to them, right? Or like there's a certain thing that's attached. That the reason why they act this way, present themselves a certain way, is because of certain past events, right? Like I understand that part. Like I'm fully aware of that. But it doesn't give you an excuse to be a mean-spirited person. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could be a nice person with still having all of these traumas, these things attached to you. Like I get it. That's just my biggest thing. If it's a tsundere in a story, I'm turned off immediately. That's just annoying to me.
You know what? Here's another thing that I don't like. A lot of, maybe not a lot, but like some of the premises in romance animes are fetish bait.
Yes.
And that has to do a lot again with the culture gap. But, you know, as an American, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
And
It's
and
definitely
we'll talk about,
just super weird.
I mean, I'll talk about specifically two of them when we review.
One of which, you know, I definitely had a different experience than you did. I mean, same experience, but our outlooks are a little bit different on it, I guess. But yeah, we can get into that later. So I guess getting into our I guess main reviews. I guess so. Basically, how this is kind of set up is we have three categories: the good, the bad, and the ugly. So there are good anime that we liked, that universally across the board that we loved, that both of us had rave reviews about. The second are ones where I or Zoe thought they were garbage. Not garbage. Well, they were bad. They just weren't good romance anime. They were bad. Then there are others that are just absolute dumpster fires that just don't need to be talked about or mentioned at all, and we'll I guess we'll get into those at the back end. And we also have a tier list debate, because I don't know if you guys saw, for anybody listening that follows us on Twitter, if you saw me and Zoe tweet out about me and him were arguing about romance anime main characters, and we had gotten a little bit of a text debate about certain main characters in these romance animes and their actions and motives and stuff like that. So let's get into the good. So we can start. I don't know what kind of list you have, but I guess we'll start with one that both of us watched, and a more recent one, and My Dress Up Darling.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I remember if you think back to the what episode is that? Episode 13.
A few episodes ago where.
Episode 12, 13? Or it's like, I think the title is Zoe Goes Full Weeb. If you haven't listened to that one, please do. Zoe.
I had a journey with this show.
Had a journey, fell in love with My Dress Up Darling.
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell us how you came to the light of My Dress Up Darling.
So this one, I started watching the show not even because we were doing this episode. It was because it was beating out Attack on Titan every week for top anime of the week. Like, it was at number 1 or number 2 above Attack on Titan. And I was like, what the fuck can this show offer me that Attack on Titan doesn't? And it's I liked it, but it's a show that I didn't care about for the sub. So I would just wait for the dub to come out. Like, it's one of those shows. And I'm kind of glad we pushed this episode back a week, because last week they released the dub, the final episode. And it's I wrote down like notes, and I put like, it's relatable, weirdly enough. I don't make clothes, and I don't have any cosplay friends, but it's like the situation that like Gojo gets put in. It's kind of, it reminds me of, being in high school and a little bit in college and interacting with a girl, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck do I do now? And stuff like that. I think both characters are lovable. I think Gojo gets a bad rap on Twitter because he's such a normal and nice character that people aren't used to that. And like, I saw a tweet, someone quote tweeted like a tweet of someone talking shit about Gojo, and then they said maybe characters can be just normal people sometimes. And
honestly,
the only thing that like got to me was I liked that they had hobbies, because it makes them interesting characters. But Marin's friends like stopped being in the show at like episode 3, and I don't know, I would like to see the dynamic a little bit more between her and her friends, or maybe Gojo and them. Like, just, have them talk to a little bit more people, not just the other 2 cosplayers.
Sure, that makes sense.
In season 2, because there's going to be a season 2, just get Gojo some new drip, please.
Can't wear the same thing every episode. That blue joint is worn out. So
like, for me, I get like, it's a 7 out of 10. It's good. I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, it took, I think every cosplayer that I follow on Twitter will say it's a 10 out of 10, just because it's like, that's basically their whole thing. And so I think it's, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10, because I think it's definitely, again, like I said, the journey of self-discovery, I guess, and more so for Gojo than it is for Marin, though. But because with Marin, she is already like very much secure in herself and enjoys what she does, right? And doesn't really hide it from anybody. Like the Gyaru culture, the way she, the nails, the hair, the eccentric attitude, like that's not anything that she's trying to hide from people. So she already knows who she is. It's more so for Gojo, because it's like he sees this person. She's like Marin is like the antithesis to Gojo.
Yeah,
in a
no,
way.
yeah, 100%.
Because you have the situation where Gojo has a hobby that he's very good at, and two, he's very passionate about, but doesn't share it with people because a girl told him it was weird in episode 1. But and that kind of stuff like really happens to people. Like you get situations where you're afraid to kind of express yourself to the way that you want to or the way that you feel like you could, but due to certain circumstances, people might think it's weird or it's corny or whatever, right? So meeting Marin and having that kind of change of heart where it's like, oh, you are this outgoing person that's very sure of yourself and you know what you like. I can help you do that in the same breath. I can be cool with myself. I think Marin did a good job of bringing that out of Gojo, and I think that journey of self-discovery for him made it like an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 for me. And so I think it's really good. You know, that episode with the body paint definitely came up, and I thought it was definitely was an issue.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad. It was there for like 5 minutes, and
it wasn't a whole
and they
episode.
didn't go through with it for a different reason. It was more a goofy reason, like, oh no, Gojo can't see her in underboob. But like, I don't know. I'm just glad they didn't really harp on it, and they didn't really make a stance. Like, I think if they would have made a stance either way, Twitter would have been up in arms.
I mean, they already were. It's Twitter.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, if they would have made a stance one way or the other, it would have been worse.
Yeah. And most of the mutuals that I follow, and like most of the people that I follow on Twitter, especially on the Nostalgia Plus Ultra page, are all black, mostly. And so like they were kind of like, some of them were like, this is not okay. Other people were like, well, context definitely matters because the fact that it's body paint and it's not like she's like doing blackface attention. It was a weird dynamic on Twitter. And it lasted like 2 days and it was over after that. So I mean, it wasn't even that big of a deal, I guess, to me at least. I'm fully aware of how racist Japan can be in terms of their depictions of black people, but I just think that one was just one of those ones where you got to be like, oh yeah, it is whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's whatever. Okay, so moving on. What was the next one that you was? I don't know. Did I send you the list? Because the next one on my list is Toradora.
Okay.
Next one on my list is Toradora.
Okay, let's talk about the ones we've seen. The ones that we've both seen, because the next one I had was Rent a Girlfriend.
I mean, I have seen that, but I'm waiting because that one is not in the good category for me.
We'll talk about that later. Oh, but we can talk about Toradora now.
Let's talk about Toradora. Okay. I can start with Toradora.
Yeah, go ahead.
That shit was too fucking dramatic, bro. Oh my god. That quote, okay, the quote literally, there wouldn't be a story if both characters weren't idiots, is literally about Toradora.
No, I agreed.
Oh my god, dude. Like, okay, first off, I liked Minori as a character, but it's also fuck her. Because she had the situation where she could have, like, if, what is his name? I wrote his name down. Where is he at? Ryuji. If Ryuji had, first off, Ryuji had expressed his whatever for her. Wait, didn't he do it already? Or did he not? I can't remember.
It was like they knew they liked each other from the beach episode.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Minori goes, oh, I always liked him. I just never pulled the trigger. And I was like, what? This show would have been 2 episodes long.
Yeah.
Because first off, because Minori already had feelings for Ryuji anyway, and Ryuji had feelings for her. All they had to do was just say, "Hey, let's do this thing." Compatibility aside, they could have just figured that shit out. Like, compatibility aside, they could have figured that out. Also, with what is his name? Fucking Yusaku and the girl. I forgot her name because she may be bad. Ami or
Taiga?
Taiga and Yusaku, because Yusaku had feelings for her, confessed, and then Taiga did some weird shit and didn't do it, and then all of a sudden Taiga likes him now. Idiots.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah, but
Absolutely
I
stupid.
think, but I think it's more for a purpose in this show specifically. Because like I know the ending gets really dramatic. But
Stupid.
but it's like they're like, "Oh, we're going to run away and elope." And then all their friends are like, "Yeah, go ahead." But then they end up not doing it. So I think it's kind of written in a way where it's like as a kid, you think it's like love is the end of the world and it's like it's do or die right now, and all your friends are
Yeah.
as idiotic as you are, so they're like, yeah, go ahead. But then like when they start
Yeah.
talking to adults, they're like, you know what, we should stay.
It's not a
They
good
like
idea.
don't go through with it. I think it's like on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just think again, and common sense comes into play here too, which I just think a lot of these characters don't have common sense, and there wouldn't be a story if there was. But basically, like the issue wasn't necessarily the two of them dating; it was the issue with like their parents like having this certain outlook for them that they wanted, right? So like, Taiga's mom wanted her to come back home with her. Ryuji's mom just wanted him to go to college and be successful because she never had the opportunity, right? So instead of going, no, we're just gonna, we're together, we love each other, we're gonna stay together and be cool. It's like, let's just run away from home, huh? It's like common sense tells you it's
Yeah.
not a good idea, but it is what it is. But yeah, like I just think it was just really, I liked it. I definitely liked the show. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
it was bad. I just think it was very,
It
very
does-
dramatic.
Yeah, it
and
gets
I
dramatic, for sure.
I was rolling my eyes at a lot of stuff. It was good though. I could give it a solid like 7.5, but it was just I was
Really?
rolling
I
my
like
eyes the
it.
entire time.
More than Dress Up. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think it's really I think it's
Really?
like recommendable. Like I like the writing, even though again, like every character is like an idiot, but they're kids and they're like lovable. I think
Yeah, except for Kano.
or Ami.
Or yeah, the one that's the other
Kano's
girl that's like a bitch. The bitch the entire time.
Kano's the
Sumire.
president with the blue hair.
Oh,
Ami,
my bad.
Ami
I actually
was
liked Kano. She
Ami
was funny.
was the main blue hair girl, which even I like her a little bit. I
Yes.
think she's kind of funny.
I don't like her at all.
Oh.
She was funny, but like she definitely was so problematic the entire time.
She was definitely problematic.
and didn't really get so like everybody got character development except for her. in a way.
Yeah, she got the least amount of character development, but there was like one episode where like, because she's a model and everyone's like, oh my god, you're so mature, and she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, but that's not really what she wants, and then
Yeah,
Ryuji happens to be like, you're such a kid, and she was like,
And she like
and
actually
she did one of those animes. One of the funniest things, like this made me like bust out laughing, was it's one of the episodes where Taiga and Ami like they're still fighting, and
Yeah.
Minarine is like I'm a diet warrior, so they go to like fuck with Ami, and Minarine just fucking yells out, oh, fuck, what was it? The divine fist of the convenience store, and then like start punching her. I thought that was so fucking funny.
Yeah, it definitely had some really
Also,
good
I'm
moments.
so glad
comedy wise.
this show wasn't horny. Finally,
Yes.
a show about kids that's not horny.
Yes, but also they made Taiga like 3 feet tall and made her look like a child. She already is a child, but they made her like she was like
Yeah.
10. So like I'm not gonna give you the okay, yes, like they didn't make it horny, but at the same time they definitely knew what they were doing when it came to how they designed a Taiga.
Yeah. There was only one scene that popped out of my mind. It was when Ami wanted to like was on Ryuji in his house. I was like, where did that come from? Holy shit.
Yeah, but I think, and it goes to like, I guess it goes to her character development in a way, because again, like she's has to put on this act like she's so mature and she wants to. It's just, it's the same thing when it comes to Asuka.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Asuka is very influential when it comes to a lot of like characters like that in a way, where she's just really trying to be this mature person, but she doesn't want to be. That's just how she has to put on the front she has to put on for it. And so, although she didn't really get that much character development, Ami did. It made things a little bit. It was just funny because like she had character development, and then towards the end, she still acted the same exact way. Like she was still an asshole.
Yeah, but she was
So
an
it's like,
asshole that was Taiga's friend now.
I guess, but when Ryuji and Tiger were at like the chocolate store, like she was not trying to fuck with them at all.
She was mad at. I forgot why she was mad at Ryuji. She was mad at Ryuji for something.
Because he dubbed her essentially for Taiga. Like what? Like I just think it was one of those things where she probably definitely like had feelings for Ryuji, but did a very shit job of explaining it.
Oh, that's another
expressing
thing
it.
about this show. I don't know if I'm like looking too deep into it and it's like not a point of the show, but I kind of liked how they talk about how like feelings can change, and that's kind of normal, because for most romance media, not just anime, like just romance media in general, it's a lot of like, okay, I like this one girl and I'm gonna like this one girl for the rest of my life, and the time span of this whole show is gonna be 20 years, and I'm only gonna like this one girl for the rest of my life. And this Toradora kind of shows like, yeah, I liked you at one point, but then like you took too long, and like I don't like you anymore. And like for Ryuji, it's like, yeah, I did like Minori, but I started spending so much fucking time with Taiga. It's like, oh shit, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like that.
Yeah, true. But also, again, that Toradora could have been 2 episodes long.
Yeah, I know, but I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it was 24.
I know, I'm sure. I'm laughing. I'm just joking. But realistically, it could have been 2 episodes long. Like, Midori could have said, like, if Ryuji actually would have went through and said how he feels, or Taiga had actually done what she said she was going to do and put Midori and Ryuji together to get them to talk to each other earlier, right? That would have been resolved either way. Again, compatibility aside, because I think Minori and Ryuji are not compatible. We're not compatible as a couple at all, if that was going to be the case, right? I think she's way too outgoing for him in the first place. Same thing with Isuku and Taiga. Anyways, those two wouldn't work either. So like, I guess that's also like the situation they're in. Like they're trying to hook each other up with people that aren't their type anyways. So it's like. So
shit,
yeah,
I think Ryuji and Ami could have worked. That's just me though.
Facts. That's just me though. But I also do not like Ami. Ami and Taiga, I just did not like them the entire time. Like I don't like people that are just mean spirited just to be mean spirited. I hate it. I hate it. Like Ami was a bitch and Taiga was a bitch. I hated it.
Did you watch the dub or the sub?
The dub.
Oh hell yeah. The dub, fucking Taiga's voice actress is Morgana from Persona 5. So I was like, hell yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I don't want to really want to throw the word bitch around. I'm sorry. I would take that back. They just weren't good people. I'll just take that. They just weren't good people. Because I feel like people are gonna get mad if I call a 15-year-old like, you know what I'm saying? I just like,
calm down, son.
Sorry.
She's just
They're
a drawing.
People. Honestly. Yeah, but whatever. I guess, okay, what other did we also watch? Love is War. We can go down that one too.
Love is War is the last one I started watching, so I'm not.
You started watching it?
I'm not done with it. I'm still watching it, but I think it's like the premise is so interesting that it's really funny, even though it's not all like jokes. It's the way everything's played out is funny. It's so over the top for just nothing, and like the narrator is awesome, and the way they think is awesome, and like you watch. Yeah. We talked about this. You watch the sub. I think the dub does a really good job of of portraying the over the top, ridiculous nature of the show. Um, it's like they could turn the most mundane thing into like this life or death situation, and then it's all just cut in the middle by I forgot her
Yeah.
name, by the character with the pink hair. It's all really really funny.
Oh, Chiaki, not Chiaki. Chica.
Yes.
She's the best. She steals the
Yeah.
show, honestly. Like I know the show's about Kaguya and it's about Kaguya and Miyuki, but Chica definitely steals the show in that. She's just super
really
hilarious in that. Yeah, I will say it's an interesting take on like the will they won't they. You know what I'm saying? It's like the very interesting dynamic on that. They make it very over the top and it's funny. And I watched the sub for it because I think the dubbed is good, but I will say the sub for it, especially the narrator, is very funny in his delivery of the lines, and then how they express the emotion in the situation, the tenseness of when somebody gets put into like a corner. I thought they do a better job than the dub in my opinion. I think. But yeah, I think it's super funny. Like one thing that stuck out to me, and I think this is in season because season 3 is going on right now.
It's like number,
so I watched
number 2 of the week every week.
Yeah, I watched an episode from season 3 just to see how the show is kind of progressing, and it's a situation where they're talking about read receipts on text message, and literally it's Miyuki going like, I noticed. So do you know what a read receipt is? And like Kage is like looking like super like concerned, and her what is her helper's name? I forgot that girl's name.
Hayasaka.
Okay, yeah. So they're both like on the phone, and Miyuki's like, when people send a message like, and you receive it and you look at it in the text message box, like it shows the time that you read the message. He said it's weird because like every time I send the message to you, like it immediately says that you read it. Do you have the message open already? And she's like in her room, like freaking the fuck out. Like the room gets like, you know how like in Death Note, like they change the color of the room to where it's like to the situation where like lights is always red or in L is always blue. It's the same thing. So it's like this red paint in the background, like everything goes dark. It's just the bed. And then I and Kagi are like looking at the phone in shock. Like it's so funny.
It is Death Note if L and Light loved each other. That's what it is. It's such a funny show.
Yeah, it's so good. I like how the gimmick never really wears off either, because I think they do new things with it, and also the side characters make it fun.
The writing's good. The writing is good.
Yeah, they don't really overstay their welcome in a lot of the situations. It's like really quick to the point, and I think them having like segmented stories that kind of go into it, like where it's like the first 10 minutes is like a story, and the next 10 minutes is a story, but they kind of mix together in a way, but not to the point where it's like a huge thing where it overstays its welcome, like I said. So super fucking funny. I think it's definitely will be one of the best romance anime out. Like when it finishes up. Tempted to actually read the manga for it low key. Like part of me kind of wants to go read it just to kind of have it and say that I read it. So yeah, that's what other did you watch Horimiya?
No.
Oh, you didn't watch Horimiya? Okay. Which one? I guess we'll go to the ones that we haven't really watched all that much. Well, me and you watched Bunny Girl Senpai, so we can talk about that.
You saw Bunny Girl? Oh,
yeah.
Bruh.
I mean, it was while I was working, so I didn't really get too much into it, but yeah.
You saw while you were working?
I mean, like I had to work from home a couple days.
Anime working? I can't do that.
I mean, like it was one of those things where like I when I got bored, I would just watch and then just have it, because I like to have stuff like on while I work, even though it is subs. You know, I can't speak Japanese. I just kind of do it.
My process through this whole thing was I was watching 2 anime at a time, and it was one that was dubbed so I could watch that while I work, and one that's subbed so I could watch that before I go to bed.
Yeah,
dude, Bunny Girl Senpai really it threw me for a loop. I'm not gonna lie, because I've heard so many good things about it, but never the actual premise. So like I'm like you told me it's like it's a good show that kind of focuses on puberty more than anything. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this should be interesting. And then like fucking the first episode shows up and it's like, oh, he's in a library with a bunny girl passes by and no one can see her. And then
Yeah.
immediately I was like, oh, he's insane. Oh, he's crazy. um and then dude, the first 3 episodes, like dealing with Mai's problem, it's
Yeah.
genuinely scary. Like I was afraid. Like my heart was like pounding because like holy shit, the more people forget her, she's just gonna fade off the face of the fucking planet.
Yeah.
So like I saw a great comment because of course when I heard the
Do you hear
yeah,
that? Okay. What the
because of
fuck?
course
Sorry.
when I heard the ending, I was like, oh, that's where this comes from. The
Yeah.
so I'm like, oh shit, that's where that comes from. So I looked up the song, and very interesting. It's whenever he's helping out a specific girl in the show, their voice actress is singing the song. So
I did not
every
know that.
3 episodes, the singer changes until the end when it's everybody. It's pretty.
I did
It's
not notice
pretty
that.
interesting. Why did I say that? Oh, because I saw a comment where it was this show is 25% cute anime girls, 25% depression, 50% quantum physics, and that's it's insanely, dude. The first 3 episodes, the basis for them is Schrodinger's cat. Like,
Yeah.
hello. Not only that,
They they kind of bullshit the quantum physics a little bit just to
100% they do.
it's definitely anime science logic in a lot of the ways, which again, you know, it is what it is. It's a fictional show, right? You're gonna have some bullshit logic attached to it to make the plot work. It makes 100% sense. So I do think it was funny, but the way in which they explained it, where it's like, that's kind of bullshit, but I can live with it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? You know what I can say?
it makes sense for the rules of the world, and I like something that I like about it a lot is I love the writing and performances of the characters because everyone is so monotone. It's like
Very witty.
it's like watching a Wes Anderson film, but like anime. I just love like Mai's like, I'm gonna slap you, and then like really calmly he's like, you know, I'd like that.
Dude, man, no, Socrates is hilarious. I
He's
think he's
awesome.
really funny.
I love him, even though like no, he's not a shitty character. He's just horny.
Horny, and he's just also he's like a very avant-garde personality where it's like he's not like he's being rebellious where he's like, oh, people, like if people go right, I go left because fuck them people. It's like I'm just gonna go left because that's how I feel. It's funny. Hilariously enough, like it was like watching, minus the horny stuff. I'm gonna get that out of the way first. Minus the
Yeah.
horny stuff, it was a lot like watching my brother Zach like interact with people, because Zach is very much like a do my own thing, Marsha be my own
Sure.
drum type person, and so yeah, again, minus the horny, watching Soccer to like interact with the people in the world and like generally have this like witty dialogue back and forth with people was like watching my little brother, but it was really funny. In that regard, so like you have like you come in for the romance, but you stay because of the way in which Sokka is helping these
You
girls
stay
out.
for the existential dread.
Honestly, like the one that really hurt me the most was like I forgot the girl's name, but she basically like cyberbullying like manifests itself as
His
cussing her
sister
body.
Kaide.
Yeah, I thought that was like a really I mean, also the situation's definitely like fucked up, but I thought the way in which they depicted that was very cool, and a very like amazing way to depict that. Where it's like, you know how cyberbullying sometimes really like definitely hurts. So every time she gets a mean comment or something gets said about her online, like you see like a bruise or a cut or some kind of blemish on her face. I thought that was like really really well executed.
I guess spoilers for this one, dude.
Literally, we're going to be spoiling the entirety of every anime we talk about because this is literally us talking about romance anime that we watch. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I should have said that earlier. We're 40 minutes in, but
it's interesting. What I really like about his case of puberty syndrome is like the 3 cuts he has. It's it's almost like self-inflicted because it's the cuts that he has. That's how he feels when he like fails his sister, because it happens again. Because when she disassociates and becomes a different version of herself, he's like, okay, I'm gonna help her until she's gone. And then,
dude, what
I heard that.
Oh my god, dude! I need to get like a soundproof. I need to get something. I need to like block out this. People would be racing. Yep. People be getting in car chases with the police by my apartment, bro. It should be wild. So apologize.
No, you're good.
I apologize.
Oh yeah. So then, like, when he tries to help the other version of his sister, and then she goes away, like his sister regains her memories. He again, his cuts open up. So that's like how he feels. Like he was like, I couldn't do shit, and that's another thing. This is a romance anime, but like, that's not really what it's. Dude, he ends up dating Mine like episode 3, and like the whole episode is just more about him. Like, yeah, he's a weird character, but like he's like a caring person, and like he wants to help these people because he knows what they're going through because he's gone through it and his sister's gone through it and shit like that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's definitely. So I know you had mentioned wanted to go into like the Monogatari series. I remember you told me about that. It's basically Monogatari series is almost kind of like Bunny Girl Senpai in a way. It's like this. The main character is like helping out like each Monogatari, and I haven't really watched too many of them, but each Monogatari, from what I have been told or have like just been kind of seen a little bit, it's mostly like the main character helping out one specific girl through certain things that she's dealing with. That's basically what the Monogatari series is about. But I haven't really gotten too deep into it because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And so I'm kind of going off of what I've seen and what I've heard about just the series in general. That's kind of the same premise. So if you like Rascal Does Not Dream Bunny Girl Senpai, the Monogatari series is probably for you. So, but it might be a little bit more horny than Bunny Girl Senpai though.
Damn.
But
I gave Bunny Girl a 9 out of 10. It was my favorite.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Definitely a favorite of mine too. It's definitely one where you can relate to a lot of the characters in a way on a lot of different levels. And, you know, anime bullshit quantum phase aside, like they definitely set up the rules of the universe in a way to where they're understandable, I guess. So yeah, I think I would give it a 9 out of 10 too. So I guess which one did you, what do you want to talk about that we didn't watch? I know you watched Your Lie. I didn't get a chance to watch that. I will watch it. For those listening, I will watch Your Lie in April. I just didn't get a chance to do it because of work.
I watched Your Lie in April, but I would like. Okay, let's talk about Rent a Girlfriend.
Dude, it's
because.
Okay, let's do it. We can come back to some of the good ones later. We're getting into the bad ones. I hate it.
I think it should be in the good. I think it should be in the good.
No,
it's funny.
No. I'm not leaving this.
It's a funny show.
Rent a Girlfriend sucks.
Dude, I liked it. I finished it and enjoyed myself.
Is this the first time we've disagreed on the podcast?
I think so. I went into this thinking okay, I'm gonna watch one of the ugly ones. Rent a Girlfriend. That's weird. That's not American. And I ended up dude. Okay. First off, really horny show, but I'm glad they're adults. They're not kids.
Yeah, they're in college, so it makes sense.
But I don't know, dude. The premise of the show is ridiculous, but they play into it, and they know that's like, okay, this is the stupidest show you've ever seen, so we're gonna be dumb as fuck. And I think the dub does a good job. The dub does a good job of making it kind of like American, I guess, because like the side characters are funny. Like there's just random lines thrown in there where like when Kazuya gets a job and he has to wear a uniform, and the uniform has a tie, and his friends come and it's like, that tie would look better in your dick, bro. Like I'm like, okay, like I just start laughing.
It's just
Dude, it's like what I think it's like watching The Bachelor, because it's like what the fuck, like this one girl is like trying to fuck over this other girl, and then there's the short-haired chick, and she is like trying to blackmail him, and then like then the shy girl's there for 2 episodes. She really doesn't matter. And then obviously like the main girl's like, oh my god, do I like him? Like it's not perfect, but it's funny, and it does get annoying. I was like, okay, I'm getting Taylor vibes of like this. They shouldn't even be pretending. There's no reason why she should go through with like
some of the stuff that she's doing,
like pretending to be his girlfriend. Like there's no reason, but that makes the show, I don't know, it's funny.
I think the show sucks. I just think okay, so sorry, I do not like the show for a few reasons. What did I write down for this? What did I write down? Oh, I call this show "We Are All Bad People," the anime.
Chizuru's
Okay,
not a bad
we are
person.
all bad
Chizuru's
people.
not a bad person.
Okay, no, Chizuru is not a bad person, but she also
She's an idiot.
Is not doing herself any favors. She's also a dumbass.
I would agree.
Okay, so like literally in the first 2 episodes, literally all she has to do is just let Kazuya fall on his sword and keep it pushing. Also, she could have just not gone to the hospital. She was, oh, you still have some time left. If Kazuya leaves, who the fuck cares?
You got paid.
You got your money. It's
already.
over. You got paid. You got paid to be his girlfriend. You don't have to interact with him anymore. Why are you still following him? And then the fucking thing where he was about to, where he told his grandma found out that they weren't together. They broke up. And she came over with the
she started
food.
liking him at that point.
I don't give a dog. That's so stupid. Also, don't even get me started on Kazuya. I know we're gonna get into the tier list of main characters in these romance anime. Kazuya is fucking
He's not
awful.
a good.
He's a terrible
He's not a good
person.
but he gets a little better but like a little better. I mean, like he goes from like an F to like a C. Like he's not like.
You're defending, dog. This man pulled a Shinji in episode 2.
He's a serial masturbator. Yeah, I know.
Dog, that's so bad.
It is bad.
He's bad, and then also he's just, I don't know, he's just not a good person. I just think, especially when also Mommy is a terrible person.
Oh, I fucking hate her.
When Mommy was like berating him in front of Chizuru at the restaurant, I was like, at least say something. At least tell him like, hey, just knock it off, like chill out, or whatever. We can talk about this later. And then all Mommy has to do is hit him with the you can come walk me back to my place. He's all on board immediately.
But dude,
stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. I don't give a fuck. Stand up.
A main point of why I like watch these shows, it's like, okay, obviously I'm not watching a shonen. Like I can't really relate to fucking Tanjiro because I'm not a fucking demon slayer with a black sword. I can watch romance animes because I kind of can relate to these people. Like I've dealt with girls and stuff like that. Mommy reminds me of some people that we went to school with.
That's 100% true. That's why I didn't like her when she came on screen.
So like I fucking hate her, but I'm sitting there like, okay, I kind of know what Kazuya's going through. Like I have walked back a girl that I shouldn't have. You know?
Yeah, no, I feel you because I mean,
I don't think the show.
Not to get too personal, but I definitely feel you because it's happened to both of us at the same time. So.
I don't think the show is groundbreaking. I don't think it's phenomenal. I think it's literally, I put chaotic, and they know it's chaotic, so they play into it. I'm definitely watching season 2. I'm kind of excited for it, and it's definitely fetish bait. It's 100% like,
Dog.
oh my god, I rented a girlfriend and now she likes me for real.
Dude. Also, you're defending a cuck, by the way. You're defending a cuck.
There
by
are
the way,
worse people in this list that we're going to be talking about. There are definitely worse people.
But I can defend those
cannot.
people. Kazuya's a bad
You
person. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Defend.
Those are bad
You
people.
cannot defend Makoto from School Days. You cannot.
Oh no, I can't defend him. I can't defend him. No, I can't. You're right about that. There are other people I can defend besides Makoto. I can defend other people, but I just Kazuya definitely just.
I do, but here's the thing.
I do see
what you mean. Kazuya does get really annoying, and
I think every character in there gets annoying. Even his friends, where it's like
his friends are stupid.
I think his friends operate off of hubris, and I think it's like, and they're also not good people. Like when, like obviously you can't control the fact that mommy's gonna be at the restaurant when they pull up, but at the same time, like it's a situation where they just didn't know how to read the fucking room. Like Chizuru and Kazuya are like walking away. First off, I mean, it definitely, okay, I will give you this. It was funny when they thought he was in a cult because of Hot Girl.
That's hilarious.
I did think that was funny. I did think that was funny, okay?
I know he's simple, but please don't take advantage of him.
Okay, I did think that was funny. But also it's just like, Kazuya, okay, so they asked, oh, we're going to go eat or whatever. You should come bring your girl with you. Chizuru's like, no, this is not what we agreed on with our terms of the date. And Kazuya doesn't know how to fucking stand up for himself and goes, oh yeah, sure, that'll be fine. No, you walk her back and you say it's cool. I can beat up with y'all later. I can come on the back end. But it's just, I don't know. I just got really annoyed with all the characters.
Did you finish the show? Okay.
No.
So there is, like you said earlier, there is a journey of like self realization, like he finds himself, like you don't care because you don't like the show, but like towards the end, like the last episode, he's like, "You're the one I want," and it's like, you know. So like he does get better, and he does start. He literally there's an episode where he's like, I should stand up for myself more and stop being a weirdo and like, but it just takes a lot longer because of the type of show that it is.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that got me. I was like, I think all these other shows, like the self-discovery happens gradually and it like keeps going. But as you get into like episode, like, because it was 12 episodes in season, I think I got to maybe episode 6, episode 5, I think. And so like, it's not as gradual. Like you don't really see the character development until you get to episode 12, which I think that's probably just a bias of me watching these other anime in which the self-discovery journey happens happens more gradual instead of just all at one time. So I think that's probably the issue. I might watch it again. I might try to give it another go.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. I liked it.
I thought it was bad.
Also,
I'm sorry. I thought it was bad.
If like the self-discovery isn't like apparent, it's because like the main pull of the show is 110% the chicks. Because in every piece of like marketing for this show,
like promo art and
Kazuya
stuff,
is like nowhere to be seen. It's literally just Chizuru and Mami and Ruka. It's just like, look at the cute anime girls we have in this show. Don't you want to watch?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's what they're doing.
If you look up, I literally, for every show we talk about, I'm looking up the characters because like there's a lot of characters names that I have to remember. And if you go to the images for Rent a Girlfriend, it's the whole page is just girls, and it's just one body picture of Kazuya. That's it.
Yeah, that's not the selling point of Rent a Girlfriend. I guess that's. I guess what
Don't
it is.
you
I mean,
want to
yeah,
rent this
I think that-
girlfriend? That's literally what it is.
I just think I don't know. Yeah, I guess the only character that I think has somewhat of redeeming qualities from what I've seen, because again I've only seen like 6 episodes, is Chizuru, and even Chizuru acts like a dumbass. So it's
She's
like,
a dumbass for love.
okay.
That's the point.
but she didn't have no. She was a dumbass about her job initially. She didn't have to do that.
She ends up liking him.
Gosh, again, a lot of these shows wouldn't have stories if the characters didn't have common sense. If the characters had common sense, none of these romance animes would have
Taylor,
full stories.
just give fetishy love a chance.
Absolutely fucking not. let me go back to one that I've seen that you haven't seen. So Horimiya, I think, is kind of not the same not the same as Toradora in terms of premise, but in terms of just how the characters interact with each other, I think it's executed a little bit better than Toradora. Because it's like, especially when it comes to the self-discovery part, because you got to think, I forgot the girl's name, but Izumi is basically this like super loner, not very good in school, secretly athletic. He just has a lot of things that he's hiding from himself, and you can definitely see how. I forgot the main girl's name. It's killing me now. What is her name?
See, this is
Now I
why I
gotta look
looked
it
up
up.
all the characters.
2 guys. I mean, I had it down, but I didn't know. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. Because it's like Hori. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, Kyoko Hori. So, like,
Her name is
when it
Hori?
comes to Kyoko,
God damn.
but when he meets her, like, he's just kind of this, like, the friendship is definitely, like, organic at first. And I think that's what I liked about it, is, like, it started out as just them being friends. Obviously, you can definitely tell Izumi had, like, a thing for her, and Hori did think he was, like, attractive in a way, right? But it kind of started out as them being friends. They were just nice to each other. And then you can start to see, like, the wall start breaking down between the two of them and how they kind of approach things when it comes to, like, their own hobbies, their interests, and what they want out of life in terms of that self-discovery part. And so I think both of them being on the same track of self-discovery at the same time definitely makes it a lot better in that regard. 'Cause I think Toradora has second best when it comes of self-discovery journeys, because obviously Bunny Girl Senpai is number 1 because of the way it's kind of set up. But in terms of slice of life romance anime, I think Toradora does a good job with the self-discovery journey where it's like I think Ryuji has more of a journey than Taiga does, and I think that's what I give Horimiya the edge for, because both of them have this journey where it's like Hori finally learns to stand up for herself and rely on others and not be so like closed off to people helping her and shit like that. And then you get Izumi like coming out of his shell a little bit. And one thing I did hate though is like how he looked in the beginning of the show, because by the end of the show he like changes his look, he gets rid of his piercings and his hair and whatever, right? I didn't like that.
You didn't
actually.
like that he
Like,
changed himself?
Yeah, because it's like that's who he is, and if he can discover himself and find and do that, I thought that would be a lot more organic.
It
right?
pulled a
because
Breakfast Club.
because it's like
when the goth girl starts wearing
basically
pink dresses.
Yes, it's literally like that, and I think that's not what I mean. Don't get me wrong. Like Izumi becoming, instead of this loner kid that's like always scared of the world, doesn't want to interact with people, and like and being like very standoffish because of like how people would treat him and stuff like that, and like actually being accepting and actually like being more outgoing and actually understanding the fact that there are people out there that like him. It's kind of like with basically like the antithesis of Shinji in a way. It's funny how this is going back to Ava, but basically
Everything goes back
Shinji,
to Ava.
like how Shinji worked when it came to like the very end of 3.0 plus 1.0, where like he finally like accepts the fact that people do in fact like him, and like he needs to just get out there and just live a little bit. It's the same kind of premise when it comes to Izumi, but I wish he would have kept like the piercings and the tattoos and the hair, because I think that's what made him him. You see what I'm saying? By the end of Horimiya, he cuts his hair, he gets rid of the piercings. He still has the tattoos, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like he just looks like a regular anime character now. And it's like you had like a uniqueness about you and you got rid of it. So like Horimiya was like a 9 out of 10, but because of how the character developed and by the end of it, it dropped a point. So it was 8 out of 10 for me. So that was basically for me. I know you tweeted at Rainy about Your Lie in April about it. So like I didn't get a chance to watch it. So
and here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna talk about how it made me feel and stuff like that. I am not spoiling it because you have to watch it at some point. Okay. It is.
I will.
It is such a. Again, this is another one that like it's a romance anime, but romance kind of takes a back seat. It's really more about Kosei's acceptance of like his mother's death, which again, that's not a spoiler. She's dead at the beginning of the show, and like once she died, he's a piano prodigy, but once she died, he like ended up getting so scared that like whenever he plays piano, he can't hear the notes. Like he has like this issue. So like the whole thing is like kind of like accepting his mother's death and like just getting over the like he hasn't played piano in 2 years, and when Kaori comes, the violinist, she's like getting him out of his shell and this and that and blah blah blah. It's really funny how you're like, oh yeah, Horimiya reminds me of Toradora. The beginning of this show with the 4 characters also reminded me of Toradora. It's like, because like there's the sporty girl, and then there's the main guy who's like kind of weird, like, but he's friends with the sporty girl and the other guy, and like, yeah, like stuff like that. Also, what makes this show hit hard, because there is I took a picture of myself crying at the end of the show. Literally, the end of the show, I thought it was going one way, and it doesn't, and I was like, oh my fucking god, are you serious? Like, holy shit. And then what makes the show hit harder is like they're all in middle school. And another one, not horny, not in the slightest, not even one scene.
Good to go.
Yeah, I think it's a tragic show. I think it's like a tragedy, but it makes me feel good. It's like a good cry kind of thing. Also, extremely poetic, and like not in like a visual sense. It's literally like whenever Kosei has like an inner monologue, he's like, the stars, they're so bright tonight. How will they look with you? Like stuff like that.
Okay.
What else? Also, I think it's funny in like a wholesome way. Like there's this part where like Kosei's freaking out, and his teacher has like a little girl that's like in love with Kosei. Not in love. It's like how little kids look up to older kids. And he's freaking out, and he starts like doing this weird like nervous dance, and she's like copying him, and she's laughing. It's like a wholesome show. I liked it all. I gave it.
It's a wholesome show, and then it gives you hits you like a ton of bricks with the sadness.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 because Bunny Girl's my favorite, so nothing can be on the same level. But Your Lie in April is really, really good, and it's a huge recommendation.
Yeah. Okay, I'll definitely, probably when we get done with this, I'll probably go back and watch it again. I just didn't have enough time. I thought I had more time to finish a bunch of them. I just didn't have more time. I even told you that to push this episode back so I could have more time.
I think that
okay. Let's get
that's
into,
enough for like the good. Now let's get into the bad.
Yeah, let's get into the bad, and let's get into the anime that Daniela recommended to us. So Danny, if you're listening, shout out to you. Yamada's first time was hands down one of the funniest anime I've ever watched.
It is really funny.
It's super fucking funny, but also very problematic and very, very stupid in its premise. I guess so. For those that have not seen it, it'd be better if you didn't, honestly. But it's it's basically this girl Yamada and her. She's the most, the cliche, the prettiest girl in school. Every guy wants her. Her goal, by the time she graduates high school, is to sleep with 100 men in high school, right? And so from the start, she's trying to find, like, her reservations about doing that is the fact that she herself is a virgin, and what she wants to do in order to get off the schneid, I guess, is to have sex with somebody else that is a virgin, because she's afraid that people that already have experience won't have sex with her because she's a virgin. Okay, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way. So she ends up finding this guy who's also a virgin named Yosuda, right? Is it Yosuda?
Kosuda.
Kosuda. So Kosuda is also a virgin, and I generally like him as a main character, as a main character. I think he was very funny, and we can get into, when we get to the tier list. It's gonna be like a 2-hour episode. Holy shit. Okay, we might have to do like a part 2 to this, low key, and just turn this into like a separate YouTube video, low key. Basically, she meets Yoshida, and basically she's trying to like find ways to get them to end up having sex, and she's very uber horny when it comes to certain things, like certain situations and stuff like that. And it's very ham-fisted in its horniness.
Oh, yeah.
And when it kind of puts in your face. But just to give my review on it, I guess, what did I write down? I said sexualizing underage anime characters is never a good thing. It's never cool. Like, I hate it. Like, I think it's super weird. Like the panty shots and the spoilers when they actually
uncensored.
The uncensored version. They have an uncensored version of it. I wasn't aware that they had an uncensored version of it until I get to episode 11. I think it's only 11 or 12. I didn't realize they had an uncensored version of it. That's definitely made it way worse of a show to me after that. And then, so focusing on the things that I thought were redeeming about it besides that part. I know this sounds really problematic, but I need y'all to hear me out, okay? The comedy is what kept me around.
Yeah.
You can tell, especially with the dub, that a lot of the people in the studio were having actual fun with some of these lines. Like, their phrases and euphemisms for having sex are really funny. Like, ones that you wouldn't think would be in a Japanese dub of like an anime show about stuff like this. Like, very American euphemisms for sex. Bumping uglies. She made a disco stick reference, and I was like, what year did this come out? You know what I'm saying? Like, the way in which her like horniness like manifests itself as this like spirit, I guess, is really funny.
Everyone has their own little spirit.
Exactly, and I think it's I will say, like, it's a very over-exaggerated way to explore the horniness of preteens and teenagers. Okay, so we're back. I don't know what the heck happened to my microphone, but yeah, my microphone was going stupid. So yeah, I think it's I don't even forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, I think it's definitely like it explores being horny at 15, 16 years old. And I think it's definitely something that a lot of people have dealt with before, and I think it makes it funny. It definitely embellishes and over-exaggerates a lot of the things, but I think it's very, very funny.
I agree with the voice acting sentiment. Like, something that made me laugh, and it just, like, it wasn't even a joke. Like, it wasn't even horny. It's like Yamada's talking to her friend Takeshita, I forgot his surname.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, Yamada, and she goes, what a ya? Like, I was like, okay, that was stupid, but like, it was really funny.
Yeah.
I hate with a burning passion, I hate Yamada. I
Oh, yeah,
think
she's a bad person.
so annoying. It's not that she's a bad person. It's
She's a
that
very
she's
bad person.
a female. And now I'm gonna sound so incel right now. I was because
Oh
I
my
texted
God.
Danny. I was like, I really hate Yamada. And she was like, what? I love her. And I was like,
Danny, okay, hold on. Danny, if you're listening, we
no.
need to
But
talk.
here's the thing.
Why?
Here's the thing. I'm like, dude, she's like, I know girls like her where they never say what's on their mind and they never explain to the guy what's wrong. And she's like, she told me, she was like, oh yeah, I do that to Sevi sometimes. and
Danny,
I was
come
like,
on.
I indirectly got mad. I'm like, you're not my girlfriend, and I'm still not answering.
Yeah, I think but yes, true, but also she's a bad person. I think she's just I think her initial intentions, hilariously enough, like never get found out by anybody besides maybe Takeshi. Doesn't want to break the news because she doesn't want to be like, the shoot the messenger thing. She doesn't want to be the person to do that. But so I thought it was funny, but like nobody else figures like, oh, maybe she's just trying to have sex with him. Maybe she's not trying to actually be in a relationship with Kosuda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And nobody really figures that out. Kosuda kind of figures it out, like in like episode 7 or 8, but then just goes, maybe not. I don't know.
Why
like,
does she only have a last name? No one knows her first name.
Is it just like everyone just calls her Yamada?
Yeah. Like,
I did not know
in the
that.
beginning, Takeshita says it. She was like, this is my friend, Yamada. She's my best friend, and I love her. But I only know her last name. Everyone only knows her last name. I don't know. And they never explain it.
That's weird.
Fuck, shit. Oh, I really like the joke at the end where she's, like, about to get it on with Kosuda. And, like, in her head, she's like, Takeshita, please tell me what to do. And she's, like, on a date with her boyfriend, and she goes, no! And her boyfriend's like, what was that? And she's like, I don't know. I just feel like Yamada was calling out to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of what I'm saying. Like, it is a bad show. Like, for all intents and purposes, the show's bad. But it's very funny.
You know what makes it
and
worse?
I think it's... What?
It was a 5 out of 10 for me. But it went down to a 4. Because they don't even have sex. If you're going to go through the whole... if you're going to make me sit uncomfortably through this fucking horny teenager show, and you're gonna pull a Euphoria on me, and you're gonna show me a teenager's titties, you might as well let them go through with it.
I know. What did I text you? Because this shit was funny as fuck. Oh my god, what did we say? Oh yeah, the quote was, "You showed me an underage girl's titties. Might as well go all the fucking way at that point. Me alone in my apartment at 10 p.m."
Dude, it's like that's the point of the show, and there was like kind of no payoff. If it wasn't funny, it'd be like
a 1 out of 10.
because it's kind of boring.
Yeah,
it's like I'm glad Kosuda has a hobby, but no, he takes pictures throughout the show. But like Yamada doesn't have a hobby, Kanajo doesn't have a hobby.
Kanajo's hobby is loving her brother, which is
that's another weird thing. I told Daniela, brother fucker is weird.
Yeah, absolutely. A brother fucker.
Yes, that's.
Holy shit, that's hilarious.
Kosuda's sister just being naked in front of him is also weird. And it's not, and that's not like a culture thing. Because he literally says, would you please put some clothes on? And she's like, I don't see the big deal.
Yeah, they don't make it like weird where she's like coming on to him. I did think, okay, had they done that, it would have been like a -5. If it was a situation where his sister was like coming on to him while she was like whatever, I think like that's part of the, I guess part of the joke is like the difference between like Kanajo and Kosuda is like they have like these siblings that are very attractive and do these things, but one of them is definitely is on some weird shit, and the other one's like, bro, can you just put your clothes on, dog? Like, I'm not trying to see you or my sibling. You know what I'm saying?
my favorite line from Kosuda's sister was when Kosuda's sitting there in his room and he has a picture of Yamada that he took, and he's like making the picture talk because he's like, fuck, I blew it with Yamada. And it's like, oh, next time you should just kiss me. And he's like, but I don't know what to do. And Kosuda's sister's looking at him, and she goes, I knew you were depressed, but I didn't know you were schizo. And she's like crying.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so Danny, like I appreciate the recommendation. You really kicked off this entire themed episode of romance anime, but dog, I don't really know what to say about your.
It's like
your
it's a 4.5 out of 10.
It's probably a 4 out of 10. Yeah, the comedy definitely makes it a 4. If it wasn't funny, it'd be like a 1, honestly. So yeah, I want to get into the ugly now with the anime that you said you have your longest review on.
Oh, do we want to talk about that, or do we want to talk about one that we've both seen?
I mean, I've seen School Days and I've seen the other one too.
Okay, wait. Let's start with Domestic Girlfriend first, because I want to word by word read my School Days review.
Synopsis. Okay, so I guess we'll move into Domestic Girlfriend. If you think back to the Rainy episode when he asked if there's an anime out there that you have watched and low-key kind of enjoyed and you don't want to share it, mine was Domestic Girlfriend. I think the show's bad. It's a dumpster fire, absolute dumpster fire of a show. I just think I got a lot of enjoyment out of how stupid and ridiculous the premise was, and how they kind of just throw a bunch of shit at you out of nowhere. Like, I remember watching the show and then watching like the Gigug episode, a video when he talked about it, and he was like, it was like confessing to this girl and then also flirting with the school rep on top of the fact that you catch this one, the teacher that you have a crush on, masturbating to the guy that she's trying to have an affair with, and then you end up like confessing to somebody and then they end up rejecting you, but then you try to double suicide at the beach all in the span of one episode. And I was like, holy shit.
It's insane.
It's insane the ride you go on with that show.
They don't show it on Crunchyroll, but when I did research, not research, but when I was like looking up like character names, stuff like that, there are uncensored scenes, and it's as uncomfortable as you already expect.
Yeah, it's. If you thought the uncensored version was uncomfortable, I was lucky enough to not watch the uncensored version. I'm not even gonna try.
Saw the first one and I was like, I'm not watching the other two, because there's like 3 in general. It's at the end when when they're at the school trip, you know how it just cuts to them in bed. Yeah, it's supposed to, like, the timestamp of the uncensored version is like a minute long. And I was like, I'm not looking at this. I don't want to see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my review of it was first thing I typed out was LMAO. And then take itself way too seriously considering the subject matter.
I put way more serious than I thought. It's insane.
Yeah, it takes itself way too seriously for it to be an anime about incest, essentially, where it's like
double
the way
incest.
Double incest. The way they set it up was also kind of like, what the fuck? It's like it's the most bullshit premise to set up because incest.
The thing is, I forgot her name. She was my favorite character, and I forgot her name. The blue-haired girl. Rui? You're, like, the way they meet, that's not realistic. No one has sex like that. So they literally, that's literally written just to give them a problem when they become siblings.
Yeah, true. That they already had sex. So, like, it's just, I don't know. So, he's a crush on a teacher. And then he already had, and the teacher's sister is a girl that he just slept with. But hey, guess what? Your father just married this woman whose daughters are the teacher and the girl you just fucked. So what do you? Yeah, like that's just like
It's an
huh?
insane premise, but dude,
An unhinged
episode
premise.
3 hooked me because I said soap opera pacing because it's a soap opera. Episode 3 hooked me because that's when they when Rui and the guy talked to the dude that the teacher's having an affair with,
Oh, Natsuo, yeah.
and
Or Natsuo
and
talks to him.
fucking Rui throws water in his face, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Because isn't that the one where like they talk about like double suiciding at the beach? That's the one I talk about, right?
Yes, when Natsuo like professes his love to
Yeah.
the teacher, I forgot her name too, and then she's like, yeah, I like you too, but are you ready? And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, if we tell people we're dating, it's basically a double suicide. That was the whole thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the oh, I looked up. I'm like, is this show even gonna get like a second season? And it's not. Like, even in Japan, it wasn't that big of a hit. But
I think it was just people thought it was. I think it's kind of like how people with me in the West, where it's just like this is an absolute dumpster fire, but I can't really like,
But-
look away. You know what I'm saying?
I did read up. Like, I was just like, how does this even end, dude? It goes on until they're adults.
Yeah, and if you watch the Giguk video, he talks about it. It's like
Dude, he has a kid with
moves
one,
past high
and
school.
then marries the other.
No
Yes,
fucking way.
and like it's.
Wait, he has a kid with one of them, and then marries the other one.
I think he has a kid with the teacher character. And then marries Rui at the end.
Holy
It's like
shit!
how trashy can this be? It's the thing is like at some
Holy shit.
point both female characters and the one male character decided to, yeah, I don't care if anyone looks at me weird. I'm going to have a kid with my step sibling. Like, how trashy can this very serious soap opera manga get?
That's bad, bro.
It's really bad.
That's really
Now
bad.
talking about it, I think I'm gonna change my score. I gave it a 5 because I was thinking like, yeah, like it's really bad, but I got hooked. But now talking about it,
Yeah.
I think it's like a 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna stay at like at a 4 for me. I just think it's just one of those ones where like I got enjoyment out of how ridiculous it was. I think that's the biggest thing. It wasn't anything where I was like, I genuinely liked the show. It was just like, this is funny as fuck.
The
'Cause
best character was my presumably trans queen, Mary.
Yeah.
She was the best character.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we were to get to the tier list of anime of the romance characters, I hate Kazuya, but I could definitely defend Natsuo.
I don't
and I think
understand.
it's very
I don't
fun.
understand.
I could defend Natsuo. Because,
Kazuya
okay,
is
I gotta
just a lonely guy. That's all he is. Natsuo is stupid.
put in a very yes. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's not an idiot for being in the situation and actually doing the things he's doing. I'm also saying like he genuinely cares for the people that he's around and it's not necessarily acting in a way. He's not acting in a way just to get his dick wet. You know, saying it's just he's just put in a situation where he's trying to figure out ways to make everybody happy and okay with what's going on, but with him himself, and he just really like has no feasible way of handling it, and so like because he's very immature at the time, he's in high school, but like and also like he has a crush on somebody as his teacher. Obviously, like he didn't know due to the certain circumstances that teacher ended up being his sister. He didn't know that. Same thing with Rui, but like. I just think he's just in a very stupid situation and acts like a soap opera character. and is trying to like manage that with having everybody be okay with everything. Kazuya is just a bad person. Like he just doesn't want to really stand up for himself. He originally doesn't really care about Chizuru. Do you remember he had that fucking weird tantrum in the aquarium because like, don't you feel empty for taking these guys' money? Like, he's an ass. He's an ass. He's a bad person.
Jumps off a boat to save her life. You are defending a walking Pornhub title. Like he likes his teacher. Pornhub scenario. Now it's his stepsister. Another Pornhub scenario. And now it's two of them. He's a walking porn title, guy.
Dog, so is Kazuya. What are you talking about?
Not American porn.
Oh my god. Kazuya's a bad person, dude.
Becomes a better person.
You're defending an incel. 100%.
Incels become incels because they have no one to stand up for them. I'm actually a good person.
Dog, you are defending an incel. I will. I'm just defending a person who is just in a very weird situation.
A very weird situation that he could have stopped.
He could have. I'm not going to say he did.
I get it. You know, when you like a person, it's hard to stop. But the whole thing with Rui, where she's always like on him, he could have been like, maybe no.
Yeah. Yeah, get off me. Funniest thing was the fucking basically just gave you a Persona 5 vibe where it's like you could romance the teacher. It's like, but I'm older than you. That's the best part.
I love that meme with the laser eyes. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's the best part. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm gonna defending Natsuo and justifying his actions because they're bad. I'm just saying, in terms of characters and how they're in certain situations, I think Kazuya would have a worse. If you put Kazuya in Domestic Girlfriend, that show is more than a dumpster fire. I think is way worse. I think if you put Kazuya in that show,
yeah.
You put Natsuo in Rent a Girlfriend, I think things turn out a little bit easier. The process is a little bit smoother.
Maybe. I don't know because they both have problems with multiple women.
Yeah, true. That's true. I think Kazuya is very incel-y for me. Don't you feel empty?
Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I also felt like she's just doing her job.
She's just doing her job.
Like you're the one that rented her.
Right, you're the one out here taking out of the pocketbook that your dad gave
projecting
you to pay for her.
He was 100% projecting, but again, he gets better. He gets better.
I'm not gonna
I wouldn't say
he's
like a great character because he kind of has like no hobbies, and it's all like the whole show is like just is the premise of the whole show is like the girlfriend, but he has some character growth.
Okay, I might have to give it. I may give Rent a Girlfriend another go. Maybe that's a.
Natsuo doesn't change. Natsuo becomes depressed, and then Rui gets on top of him, and she's like, "I'm gonna make sure I'm the girl for you," and he doesn't stop it, and that's how the show ends.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, yeah. What do you expect? It's a very soap opera type show. You got to give it what it is. Okay, so I need you to let me hear word for word what your school days. Review
so the thing is,
because this is one I was hyping him up to watch the entire time because I really wanted to see his reaction to the last couple of episodes. So I really just wanted you to go ahead and hit me with it.
When I'm watching these animes, I'm writing like as I'm watching, and I just had to keep typing while watching this show. So it starts off with, it hasn't been 58 seconds yet, and there was already a close-up shot of boobs jiggling while girls run. Already weird. Again, this is as I'm watching the show, so I'm like super run-of-the-mill, kind of boring. Weird grope scene between, I forget their names, Girl 1 and Girl 2. Girl 2 is his friend.
Yeah,
Girl 1 is the one that he likes in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I start seeing some, cause Makoto starts cheating on girl 1 with his friend, girl 2, and I'm like, okay, worst anime MC I've seen in a long time. Holy shit. Oh, I wrote girl 1's name down. I was like, I feel so bad for Katsura. She's so nice, and she's getting bullied by these girls, and then like getting cheated on, and she's like in denial. Such a bad feeling watching the show. I like, and now in all caps, Makoto cheated on Sakai too. What the fuck? Did Taisuke really just assault Katsura? What the fuck is this show? They recorded the break room. How many fucking girls does this fucking guy have sex with? He had a fucking foursome. Sakai is pregnant. Sakai killed this man. Good for her, but what the fuck? And now the rest is all lowercase. Katsura cut off his head. Katsura looked inside Sakai's stomach. Oh, Sakai wasn't really pregnant. I cannot believe I actually saw this. Oh my god, she's hugging his head, and that's how the show ends.
Bro. Oh my god, dude.
Okay. I've talked about this before. What makes a good like character in like these romance animes is like when they have hobbies and they like actually do those hobbies. There is not one redeeming factor about this man, Makoto. Makoto has no hobbies. He's literally just having sex, and I cannot believe that one girl who liked his friend Taisuke was like, I came over here to like tell you to go visit Sakai, and now I'm sleeping with you. I'm like, what the and then the 3 other girls have sex with him like together, and one of them has a boyfriend. I'm like the only one that he didn't have sex with was like the tall one, I think.
Maybe I don't remember. Okay, but so here's the thing. So your reservations about School Days are all valid, and the ending is fucking hilariously wild. Insane. It's unhinged. Okay, but here's the thing. So School Days is actually a visual novel that you play. And so a lot of the love interests, or a lot of the girls that you meet on the back half of the show, like the ones that he just randomly has sex with out of nowhere, are ones that you meet while playing the game, apparently. And so, like, while the visual novel helps you, and I'm putting this in quotation marks for people listening, helps you earn those interactions with those women, right? The anime just skips through all of that. So none of Makoto's like sexual escapades with these women are earned, because it feels like he never really talked to them in the first place. They're just throwing themselves at him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like that's one thing. So I think the part of the reason why it's so fucking stupid is because like they skipped a lot of the legwork you have to put in the visual novel to actually even get to interact with those women. You see what I'm saying? So that's one thing. 2, I think the fucking Makoto is also like a bad person. This is what I'm saying. This is the reason why I can kind of defend Natsumo and not Makoto, is because Makoto is just doing it solely for the purpose of having sex, because you think he's like this loner, very shy character. By episode 6, he's a fucking asshole,
dude,
who just wants to have sex with everything moving.
The girl that liked his friend and then ends up having sex with him. She literally, this is pillow talk. Like, she's wearing like one of his shirts, and she's like, "Oh, you should really check on Sakai. Like, she's having a really rough time. She hasn't been coming to school." And he literally turns around and goes, "It's too tiring." Like, he literally pulls one of those and then pulls her in to like go for like round 2. I was like, this fucking guy, he's literally the worst character I've seen in any piece of media ever.
Yeah, he's a bad person. Like, I talk about Yamada being a bad person, but Kodo is a terrible person.
I'd rather be friends with like the Joker.
Yeah, it's bad. I think so. None of the romance is actually earned by Makoto in any way, because they skip a lot of the visual novel portions of that. And then I just think the way they ended it was just like, why? Like,
Dude,
why?
it's one thing.
Because they don't give you, they don't, with those characters, they don't really give you the indication that they could potentially just snap and become murderers.
They did with Katsura a little bit. There was
They
some
did, okay,
scene
they did with
where
Katsura,
she's
yeah,
like
you're
holding a knife and she's like, and then like, actually there was this one shot of Katsura's face where she's talking on her phone and her phone's like out of battery, and like her face is like pale and her eyes are like black. I was like, okay, this is getting scary. What's going on? She was talking on like her phone was out of battery and she was like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Homegirl crazy.
And then like it's one thing that like Sakai kills him because he was like, oh, Katsura knows a clinic that you could get an abortion at. And I was like, oh my god, this is so dark. Another thing that makes me fucking hate this man. He goes home with Katsura at the end, but then Sakai comes and she's like, no, leave him, he's mine, and then he starts making out with Katsura in front of Sakai. And they give it so much detail, and like they show the tongue movement, and I'm like, in front of the girl that you think is holding your child currently?
Yeah.
What the fuck is, like, sometimes when you have an idea, it doesn't need to be said.
Yeah, true. It doesn't need to be put out into there. I think I didn't write this down, but it just came to me. I think since it is a visual novel, I feel like the people who made this show were just like, let's just pick the bad ending.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a visual
It's
novel.
like, yeah, it's like, let's just pick the bad ending of the visual novel and just run with it. maybe they pick the bad ending where Makoto just goes absolutely just stupid and doesn't really pick a side and just is bad to everybody. I think it's like it's kind of like the genocide run in Undertale, where you get to the end and it's like, what is the character like? Was it not? It's not Flowey.
Sans.
It's something else. Or like the main character like actually goes. I thought like turns into this weird demon and like attacks you at the end. Yeah. So it's like let's just pick the one where Makoto just genocide runs the entire show.
It's one thing to like for Sakai to kill him because she's mad. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It's another thing for Katsura to cut his head off to keep it, then open up Sakai's stomach to check if she was pregnant. And there's a shot from inside Sakai's stomach looking at Katsura, and her hand is bloody, and she's like, I knew it. And I was like, what?
It's like, holy shit. It's like, holy shit. Also, like, the most that was part was unhinged. Also, a very low-key unhinged part, too, is when the bag, where she has, like, the bag of his head, and she, like, brings it to the old girl, and she, like, unzips it.
She goes, open the bag. Why don't you ask him?
Yeah. She goes, open the bag. I was like, whoa. I was like, holy shit.
I'm like, dude, these two girls were friends 11 episodes ago.
Honestly. That shit's
like
wild.
I literally said Sakai killed this man, good for her, but what the fuck?
Oh yeah, he deserved to get killed, but you know, definitely different options you could have chosen to do that, I guess.
Also, Taisuke assaulting Katsura, that should have not. Cool. I don't see the point of that being in there. Cause like I get it, I get. Oh, he's like clueless and didn't know, but then like he's like out of the show for like the last 5 episodes. So I think that was just there for shock value, and I really didn't like that.
Yeah, definitely was super weird. What time we got? Okay, well I have somewhere to be in like an hour, so let's wrap this up.
I got
so we got everything we needed to get out.
Last review.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
I guess this could be. It's not ugly because it's not weird, but I guess it's ugly because I dropped it in 3 episodes. Science fell in love, so I tried to prove it. I wrote adults again, thank God, because I was like, okay, maybe you can. Dude, it's it's two Sheldon Coopers just trying to figure out if they actually like each other, when it's just obvious that like they do, because like, oh my god, my heart's racing, but then they're like, why does your heart race? And then they do science, and then in the middle of the episode there's like a character that actually tells you like science, like for real life science knowledge, and I'm trying to work at the same time, and I'm like, I can't deal with it. It gives me anxiety. It's so and then the last thing I wrote in all caps, I was like, kind of funny, but dropped defended liking 2D girls, 2 out of 10. There's literally one part, one of the characters is like, yeah, I play, like he plays a gacha game, and he's like, yes, this is my love, like he's weird. And then like the scientist guy's like, well, it's kind of like, and I was like, no, it's not.
It's not. It's
But yeah,
weird.
so
okay?
I dropped that in 3 episodes. That was my last review.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So for the sake of time, we're probably gonna just have to skip music recs, and we can probably make like a part 2 to this and just have like the romance anime men tier list. Because I know like a lot of times with people when they talk about romance anime, it's always like the women they put in a tier list and stuff like that. But I kind of want to do more of the main males. 'Cause I feel like not too many people do that, I guess. So we'll have a part 2 of that. So be on the lookout for that pretty soon. So again, thank you for listening in today. Also, if you didn't listen to previous episode, we had a guest on, Rainy Ovalle. Rainy, if you are listening to this episode, we appreciate you coming by. Come by anytime, because we had a blast with you on the show. So yeah, I think that's all the time that we have for today. I've been Nostalgia. Asto Bazo. We see you guys next time. Peace.